Dis vir my baie lekker om vanoggend met Dr. Mathew, sy is 'n Hoof Navorser by die WNNR te gesels. Dr. Mathew, welcome to Groot Plaas.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think it's such an awesome theme we're talking about. Let's start with, at the beginning, obviously. Please tell me about the CSIR's Biodegradability Testing Laboratory. What is this about?
The CSIR Biodegradation Testing Laboratory, it's a unique facility for testing the biodegradation of materials as per international standards. So these are ASTM and ISO standards. Now, normally when you say that a material is biodegradable, by itself, it does not mean anything.
Yes.
You have to follow it up with, conditions of biodegradation, as in whether it's biodegradable in aqueous or compost or in soil, and also the time frames, as in how long does it take to biodegrade. So we are also in the process of accreditation of the laboratory.
If we look at, obviously, having a laboratory like this, what is the main purpose and the main goal?
You see, when we speak about biodegradation testing, an important part of the testing is the mineralization test. So that means measuring the carbon dioxide that's evolved during the biodegradation process. So as per ASTM and ISO international standards, material can only be claimed as compostable only if 90% of the carbon is converted to carbon dioxide within a 6-month period. Now, what we see here is that there's a lot of greenwashing that's happening. A lot of products are being imported into the country and falsely being claimed as compostable or biodegradable without any certification or any testing. So we are saying that we've got this laboratory here that can do this kind of testing, and we can now validate the claims of all the products that are being claimed as biodegradable, whether it's locally produced or imported.
So this is obviously now the first one in Africa. How did it work before, in the past? I mean, with products coming in, how did that process work?
No, there would be no testing because, we have actually confronted certain companies that are importing products that are not compostable. Typical examples would be, oxo-degradable plastics. I'm not sure if you're aware of them. These are in the process of being banned in Europe, and a lot of these products are now being, it's now flooding into South African markets. And when you confront these people, they're quite arrogant. They say that,
imagine.
Look, as a country, you don't have testing facilities, you don't have standards. And today the CSIR has responded. We now have the CSIR Biodegradation Testing Laboratory, and and once the accreditation is over, it's going to be the only one, not only in South Africa, but on the African continent.
And how?
Now, another thing I'd like to maybe
I just want to ask you here, how would that process work? Would the public, would anybody be able to send products to you, or is there a different process?
No, you can just send us an email and say that you've got a particular product and you want to know the biodegradation, testing profiles. Like is it biodegradable in soil, compost, or aqueous, or how long does it take to biodegrade? And then we will do the testing for you. We'll first send you a quotation, and then upon acceptance, we'll do the testing for you.
I can just imagine that it took a lot of partnerships to create something like this, because it doesn't just come up out of thin air. So a lab like that, who are involved in creating and establishing this lab?
Well, the CSIR is the implementing partner for the UNIDO and the government of Government of Japan funded project, which is all about developing an action plan on conversion from conventional plastics to environmentally sustainable alternatives. So basically what the project does is we did a survey of all the plastic products that were leaking into the environment, and these are termed as problematic products, which products that are discarded in landfills and in the sea, common products. And then we came up with environmentally sustainable materials with which we could replace these products with. And right now we are at a stage where we are developing a prototype demonstrator using these environmentally sustainable materials. And when I say sustainable materials, we're talking about, natural fibers, biopolymers, as well as, sometimes even recycled materials. So as part of this project, UNIDO funded the equipment for the biodegradation testing lab.
I wonder if we look at the bigger problem, because obviously there's a need for a lab like this. Can you maybe paint me a picture of how big the waste plastic litter issue in general is in South Africa?
You can look at it globally. The global production of plastics is sitting around close to 400 million tons. And this is actually doubling every decade. And if you look at the plastic waste production, it's also following the same trend, and it's sitting at around 300 or so million tons. And global stats say that only 9% of this plastic waste is recycled. More than 50% is dumped in landfills. Another 20% is going off into terrestrial and aquatic environments. So if you look at the major portion of this plastic waste, which is ending up as litter, it's majorly coming from the packaging industry and also a lot of single-use products, which are not recycled. So the South African situation is more or less similar. Our plastic waste figures are around 2.4 million tons, out of which only 14% is recycled and the rest is dumped.
Yes. What would the 10-year aim be? Obviously now we're starting something new and there's these new possibilities. In 10 years, what would you like to see change in South Africa specifically?
This plastic waste problem, pollution, it cannot be solved by just there's no one solution to it. There's multiple steps that needs to be taken. One step is that you can start replacing single-use plastics that are not recyclable with environmentally friendly materials. And that's something that we do. That's one of our research focus areas, where we develop compostable materials for use as single-use plastics that are not recyclable. So, some plastics or some products are not recyclable, either due to economic reasons. So sometimes they are lightweight and it's not worth their while, or they are contaminated. So specific examples of that, in the agricultural sector, you have mulch films, which is contaminated with soil. Packaging sector, you've got food cartons, and another interesting sector is the biomedical sector. There's a lot of single-use biomedical devices that are used, and it's single-use, so it's just discarded after that. So all these areas have an opportunity with compostable plastics. Now, the other point is that it's not just enough to say that we're going to use compostable plastics. We actually need an enabling environment and structure to aid this shift. So globally, you have a lot of bio-based incentives and legislations within every sector. For example, in the aerospace, you've got Clean Sky, which is about greening the aircrafts, legislations like REACH. In the automotive sector, it's about reducing carbon footprint, making the vehicle lightweight, using more recycled content. And also in the packaging sector, there are bans which helped us, like banning single-use plastics. I think that's been implemented in several countries in Africa. So all of this will help to, drive the shift towards bio-based materials. And all of this is also aligned to circular economy principles and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. The other things that one can do is increase the percentage of recycling, and that you can do by also designing the product a bit differently, and also improve waste management practices, have more sorting and collection facilities.
We're going to continue our chat just now. Bly gerus ingeskakel. Ek gesels steeds met Dr. Mathew en sy is by die WNNR. Dr. Mathew, I think in the times we are living in now, according to you, what role does the CSIR still play in development and, making tomorrow better almost?
Yes, if you speak about the lab in particular, as I was saying that apart from supporting the R&D that we do, the lab will be used as a key point for validating the claims of all the companies who are either importing biodegradable products or producing them locally without any, and if they claim that it's compostable without any certifications, we are here to validate your claims. So this is also something that, is open for the public. If you come across any product that says green, environmentally friendly, I'm not plastic, it really doesn't mean anything. So if you have doubts as to how do you properly dispose of this product, please do contact the CSIR and we'll be able to assist you with that. The other point is that, people also have a lot of misconceptions about biodegradable materials and bioplastics.
That's true, yes.
Because people seem to think that if something is biodegradable, it's going to biodegrade as is anywhere. So sometimes it's like a case of it is here now and then it's not there the next day.
Yeah.
They also think that, okay, it's biodegradable. That means I can chuck it in any environment. So that can be open fields or in the sea, and it's going to disappear. It's completely false. Biodegradable material, it means that it biodegrades under specific conditions, which depends on the type of biopolymer it is, and which can only be determined by testing.
Do you think that, I'm thinking about so obviously in the future, the lab's got to give the stamp of approval when it comes to biodegradable products, right? That would be best case scenario.
Yes, absolutely. And for that, as I said, we are in the process of accreditation. And after accreditation, we can, issue testing reports, which any company can use for certification. So we are actually in discussion with the SABS, SABS, South African Bureau of Standards, with that. If they can be our certifying partner. So if there is any company that wants a certificate, they can contact SABS, and then SABS will point them to us to do the testing and to provide them with a testing report.
Dr. Maya, I'm going to have to stop here. I'm so sorry. We ran out of time. Thank you for the knowledge and thank you for your time.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Dankie dat jy erin ingeskakel het. Ek hoop jy het iets geleer. Mag jy 'n lekker dag hê. Bly net daar vir die groot ontbyt volgende. Ons sien mekaar binnekort weer.